Hey everybody, welcome to episode 40 of the Nate Stowe Show. Today I want to talk about 3 different reasons strength training helps with fat loss, and also Monday night football. Football is back, so Saints opening night versus the Texans. Quick recap, but let's get started with 3 reasons strength training helps you with fat loss. Number 1 is that when you do strength training, and we're talking about lifting some heavy weights for an extended period of time, you start to produce different hormones that are associated with fat loss. One hormone in particular is called Ireson, I-R-I-S-I-N. It's amazing. They did this study with rats where basically they were trying to make the rats fat. They're like, can we make this rat fat? They would feed it some Ireson, and they basically couldn't make the rat fat. So the more Ireson you have, the less likely you are to gain fat. Well, what creates Ireson? It's from your muscle. How do you build muscle? You do strength training. So we can either A, wait like 20, 25 years for the FDA to approve a liquid form of Ireson and take that pill or shot or whatever it ends up being, or we can just start lifting weights, build some muscle, and create our own Ireson and put us in a better position to lose fat. Reason number 2 is that our 70% of our calories are burned through what's known as our resting metabolic rate. So we'll burn calories just lying in bed, because our heart's pumping, we're breathing, brain waves are working, 70% of the calories burned there, not even activity generated. Well, that resting metabolic rate is pretty much a 1-to-1 ratio of how much muscle mass you have. So if your muscle mass goes up by this amount, you're going to have like an exact amount of resting metabolic rate come up. And again, resting metabolic rate is 70% of your calories. So strength training promotes more lean body mass, more muscle mass. So now you could burn more calories at rest. That just makes it easier to create a caloric deficit and ultimately lose some weight, lose some fat. Third reason, when you lift weights, not only do you burn calories doing it, you're doing the squats, the lunges, the push-up, burn a lot of calories, but because of the nature of the exercise, you can continue to burn a little bit more calories, just a little bit extra calories above your base metabolic rate for up to 3 days. So you burn calories doing it, and then you burn just a little bit higher rate for up to 3 days compared to something like, say, running or riding a bike or rowing, something like that, where you burn calories doing that, right? But within about 6 or 7 hours, you quit burning additional calories. So you'll burn calories running, you'll keep burning additional calories for about 6 or 7 hours, but then you're back to your regular metabolic rate, weight training, up to 3 more days. So better hormones. 2, we got elevated metabolic rate, and 3, burn more calories for up to 3 days after the activity is done. So 3 great reasons to do strength training if you're trying to lose weight and lose fat. All right, on to the Saints. How did they look? I thought they looked great. I really thought that the score was a lot closer than the game. I felt like we were really handling the Texans, and there's just 2 or 3 big plays that made that score a heck of a lot closer. In the first half, man, I think we sacked them 4 or 5 times. We're stopping the run. And they had a couple big third down conversions. They had the third down rollout where Watson scored the touchdown. There's another big third down play where I think we had pass interference on the guy. He somehow still came down with like a 50-something yard catch. Just a couple really big plays. Outside of those, though, the Saints were really, they look like they're dominating most of that the position battles. We had going into the half where the officials made an error. They ran extra time off the clock that shouldn't have been done. The Saints should have had 26 seconds. Around midfield, trying to get a little bit closer for a field goal. Officials messed up, left them with 16 seconds, so they kicked a 57-yard field goal, missed it. But again, if they hadn't have messed up the clock, there's a very good chance we would have moved the ball a little bit further, scored some points there. Overall, I thought we looked great. We've lost the first game of the year about 7 years in a row, always come out with a little bit of rust, which is where those big plays, like that big 50-something yard catch, the big Watson run for the touchdown, a couple of things like that. So I'm glad to escape with a win. I thought we looked great, and traditionally the Saints clean up those kinds of those big plays, some silly penalties. There's a silly penalty in there like roughing the kicker and another offsides that gave them second chances. Like generally speaking, Sean Payton's teams clear that up by the second, third game of the season. So off to a great start. Happy with that. That's it, y'all. I'll be back with episode 41 soon.